Hello everyone, today we'll be showing you how to beat the first boss of the Tomb of the Nine Gods. And the fight actually starts before you enter the boss area. There's 3 keys that you have to put in, and each one brings a unique buff to the fight, but also with a downside, a unique curse that comes along with it. And you have to distribute these amongst your team. And the real hard part of this fight is figuring out which one to give to which. So the right one's the easiest one to figure out. It's a DPS buff. It increases your damage against Orcus here. But the downside is you'll actually take damage over time, whoever has that buff. And so you always put that on whoever has the highest single target DPS, whoever can deal the most damage to Orcus. With that one out of the way, you have to choose who's going to take the middle buff. And that one lets you deal more damage to the zombies that'll spawn in as you get pushed in the water. You can see every time you get pushed in the water, more and more ads come out. But the downside is you deal less damage to Orcus. And so you always just give that to whoever is dealing the least amount of damage in the dungeon usually. Because you want to deal as much damage to Orcus and kill him as quickly as possible. And the last buff is a ton of temporary hit points. It multiplies the amount of normal hit points you have and just gives you a huge shield of hit points. And you need to have that because in the corners of this fight there's the spheres, and they become tethered to players. The longer this fight goes on, the more tethers there are, and if any one of those touches any one of your teammates, they'll instantly die, and the only way to prevent them from dying is to have that person who has all the temporary hit points to intercept those and have those take out a chunk of his shield rather than one-shotting the team. And again, if you do get hit by these spheres, you're sent straight to the campfire. You can't use a scroll, can't revive, so it's very, very important. And that's the real reason you want to kill Orcus as quickly as possible, because if eventually that player will run out of temporary hit points the longer this fight goes on. You usually throw that on a cleric, and the reason is a tank class cannot dodge in. They don't have a dash, they don't have run, they move very slow. And so they can't intercept the spheres very well, especially when there's multiple spread across the room. Additionally, if the tank has it and they've got aggro of Orcus, he tends to get away from the middle area, which pushes him towards one of the corners and you have less reaction time. And you want your DPS focusing on damage, so you usually throw that last curse on a cleric and let them run around and intercept the spheres. Other than that, the fight's very straightforward. He only has a couple of attacks to watch out for. He has the AoE cone that pushes you into the lake. It's pretty easy to dodge, and the spheres are again the main part. But you really want to focus all your damage on Orcus. The ads really don't matter. They'll come to the middle and die anyways. Sometimes the person with the temporary shield will want to drag the ads closer to the entire team, because if they just sit on the outside, they don't act like they're taking damage because the ads are chipping away at their shield, but that's shortening the amount of time you actually have for this boss fight. And this is actually one of the harder fights in the dungeon. I'm gonna put out a couple of guides on the rest of them, but if you could get through this boss, you should be able to get through the entire dungeon, no problem at all. So thanks for watching, and if you liked it, please subscribe, and like I said, tune in for the rest of the boss guides. Thanks.